So today we're going to be taking a look at what could be my personal favorite wave from 2022 so far, and it is the Star Wars Clone Wars wave for the vintage collection. And it is a Walmart exclusive. It was released back in March. You can still get them readily available at the time of this video. Who knows how much longer that'll be. Definitely the ARC Troopers you see here are going to be the most in demand. But yeah, it's a great wave overall. I really like it. I'm glad I got all of these. They are all 6 of them you see here are just repaints. Most of them are previously released in the vintage collection, except Luminar here was from the 2013 Black Series 3 3/4 inch line. And as far as I can tell, they're all basically the same exact action figure that was previously released, minus maybe some accessories, or of course the paint is a little bit different. Photoreal tech for all the Jedi and the clones that you see there. And there are a few minor differences that I'll point out here in a little bit. So we'll take a look at this packaging first. We'll go through all 6 of them. I'll show you the ARC Trooper first. Again, this is probably going to be the most in-demand action figure of the line. I'm up to 5 of these now. It's nice to see as well, 20 years after the series was released, that it's still gaining a little bit of attention. I recall on the day the series premiered, and at the time it was only 5-minute episodes, and it seemed like it took forever for a new one to come out. Nice image from the show there, VC212. And this was supposed to be part of the 50th anniversary of Lucasfilm, even though this was released, or these action figures were released this year. I suspect they were delayed. It gives you a timeline of Lucasfilm's history there. Next we'll take a look at the ARC Trooper Captain, or as we know as Captain Fordo. Although I always thought he was an ARC Trooper Commander instead. At least for season 1. Nice image from the Battle of Munilus there, VC213. Next we have Sophie. I believe that's from the episode that took place on Ilum, where Padme and Yoda go to save Barriss and Luminara. And next we have Luminara Unduli, which again is the first time that she's been offered in the vintage collection. I believe that's from the opening scene of the series, VC215. Next we have the Battle Droid. And then finally we have Ayla Sakura. I believe that scene's from Volume 2 in VC217. So as I said, these are all repaints. We'll take a look at the Battle Droid first since it's the easiest. And again, it's just the same Battle Droid that we've gotten several times in the vintage collection up until this point. There are some subtle differences I noticed with this one compared to a lot of the other releases, and the biggest noticeable one that I've discovered is that this one is able to stay standing up if he's displayed on a shelf. A lot of times I see this too, and I read about this on the internet. Some people say that droids start doing that after a while. Some of the ones I have start doing stuff like this. This one, it seems to be consistently standing like this, and I've read a few other posts on social media indicating this as well. So if you're looking for the B1 Battle Droid from the vintage collection mold that's going to be standing up for at least a long period of time, this is definitely the one for you compared to the other ones. Again, this is just the same one we've been getting, but this time it has a more of a red paint job. Slightly different red from the Battle Geonosis Battle Droids that we've seen. A little more of a matte red, I suppose. A little bit more flat. As far as accessories go, it's the same exact accessories we've been getting for years. Of course, he comes with his blaster, the pack there, and then this extra antenna, which I assume is supposed to, if you want to swap out the backpack there for this, it signifies a droid commander. I do have a few displayed on my shelf like this now. Blaster does have some silver detailing on it. I don't think the previous releases have really had this so much. Notice over the years the Battle Droid blasters seem to have gotten smaller. And of course the pack is removable there, and it does fit well into place, and it stays. As far as articulation, it's the same articulation that we've seen for this Battle Droid for years now. Has very good range in his neck there. Swivel shoulders, swivel elbows. It does go past 90 degrees. Nothing in the wrists, nothing in the waist. Swivel hips, and then hinged knees. Very good hinge there. And then hinged ankles as well, which is also very good. Again, you can put this in the position like what we've seen in the Phantom Menace, and you can pop his head in like that, like so. So that's it for the Battle Droid. Next we'll take a look at the ARC Trooper. And some of you might have noticed already, wait, where did this rifle come from? Well, this is actually a custom 3D printed ARC Trooper rifle I got from eBay. Of course, like we've seen in the series, and we even see on this packaging here, those are the actual rifles that the ARC Troopers use in the series. And unfortunately, Hasbro decided not to sculpt a new rifle for this release, and they got lazy and just released Captain Fordo's blasters with this, which is totally inaccurate. But if you get on eBay, a lot of times you can find some extra custom rifle, ARC Trooper rifles, or any Star Wars action figure accessories for that matter. And usually they're a couple dollars each. Again, just type in like ARC Trooper rifle accessory on eBay and it should pop up. In fact, I'll give you a closer look at it. It's very hard to tell if it's even a custom or not. It almost seems like an official Hasbro product. I can see the 3D printing industry really hurting Hasbro in the future, or any toy company for that matter. The fact that we can print stuff like this good while at home. So this is just, of course, a repaint of Captain Fordo there, but both of these ARC Troopers are just re-releases of the original ARC Trooper from the Vintage Collection. I recently had it featured in the top 10, that particular version. A little bit of a paint difference between the two, and I'm missing a few extra accessories from the original, but otherwise it's the same exact action figure. Very nice release. Again, this is probably the most sought after one of the wave because people like to buy these in bulk. So if you haven't managed to get a few of these yet, or if you're looking to army build them, right now is the time, because I'm sure in the future these will be very expensive and you don't want to miss your opportunity with these. Unfortunately though, especially for the blue ARC Troopers here, a lot of them do have blotchy helmets, especially among the visor. I do have one where it seems like there's some blue paint that's splattered right in the middle of the visor. So keep an eye out for that. It's just utilizing the same tooling that we've seen for years now for the Phase 1 clones, and it looks like the fin and the paint are a little bit off-center there too. I have seen some samples like that. Fortunately, in the last year, it seems like Hasbro's quality control has not been that great. Nice sculpting on the ammo pouches there. Again, the holsters and the blasters you see there are not accurate to the show at all. I believe it's just pouches, like you see in the photo there. And his only two accessories, and it's the same for Captain Fordo as well, it's just these two blaster pistols, which are signature for Captain Fordo. It's almost like a rifle in a way. Let's see, put that there. The helmet is removable. And fortunately, the face printing did turn out pretty well on both of my samples that I have here. I have seen some that are very blotchy again, unfortunately. And like I've said in previous videos, when Hasbro re-releases action figures from the past that didn't utilize the face printing technology, a lot of times it comes out very blotchy. So keep an eye out for that. Sometimes it's better to have the original with the painted face instead of the re-release with the photoreal tech. And this particular head sculpt is actually Captain Fordo's. And they just re-released or reused it for this particular trooper as well. Rangefinder is not movable, unfortunately. In terms of articulation, again, it's the same articulation we've always seen. Has a hinge at the head there, hinge shoulders, hinge elbows, hinge wrists. This one goes up and down, and this one goes in and out. Good ball jointed torso there, hinged hips, then hinged knees and hinged ankles as well. And he does hold this custom rifle very well. Glad to have a few of these. And next we'll take a look at Captain Fordo himself. Again, it's the same exact thing, just a red paint job instead. The difference between this one and the original release is mostly there's extra red on his helmet here. It's a little bit more of a finely printed on the original release for his helmet, mostly along the visor there and on the shoulders here. It's a solid red stripe across the entire thing instead of just on the shoulders, I believe. And on the comma here, there's a lot more red for the lines you see here versus on the original. And it's missing the Phase 2 armor, unfortunately. You think Hasbro would have included that since it's still part of the Clone Wars line, but fortunately, if you're looking for the Volume 2 Captain Fordo, you will have to get the original still, unless you manage to find the accessories by themselves on eBay or something like that. But I imagine people charge ridiculous prices for those. Again, the only accessories it comes with is just the signature Captain Fordo blasters that you see. Helmet is removable again. Same exact head sculpt. Same articulation as well. So that does it for the troopers that we have in the line. Next we'll take a look at Ayla Sakura here. Again, she's a re-release from the vintage collection. A much needed re-release at that. The original was a lot more expensive now, I believe. Not much of a difference between this one and the original release, except the paint job is a little bit different. This particular one's a lot more of a lighter blue, a little more accurate to the Clone Wars series, I believe. And this cape that she comes with is a little more form-fitted to this release, instead of the original where it's a little more bulky, I think. It's a very nice head sculpt there. And you can't take the robes off easily. This robe here almost looks like a burgundy color instead of brown. Very interesting. In terms of articulation, very good ball joint at the neck there. Then hinged shoulders. Goes a little bit past 90 degrees, which is nice. Hinged elbows. Again, goes about 90 degrees, I would say. Swivel wrists there. Hinged torso. Hinged hips. Hinged knees. Goes about 90 degrees there. Then hinged ankles. In terms of accessories, she just comes with her unignited hilt and then her regular lightsaber hilt. She has some nice detailing on it. A lot more of a translucent blue instead of a deeper blue. Lots of good detailing on her. Very nice action figure to have in your collection. I do think she's one of the best action figures that's been released in the vintage collection. I wanted to include her as an honorable mention in my top 10 recently, but again, if I did a honorable mention, it'd probably end up becoming a top 20 list before it's over with. But she'd definitely be up there in terms of some of the best vintage collection action figures. Next, we'll take a look at Sophie, the apprentice to Luminar Unduli. Again, I mentioned this recently. I think it's unfortunate how Dave Filoni, I suppose, basically branded Sophie as a traitor in the new Clone Wars series. I like the way her character was written before that. Don't think she's gotten any justice, unfortunately. And recently, this was one of the picks I had for my top 10 in the vintage collection, the original at least. This is basically the same exact action figure. The only difference is, of course, the paint job is different, and her skirt is actually a little bit more trimmed, I think, and less poofy compared to the original, which can have its benefits in its own way. I think having more poofy dressed worked for this action figure. It's a very good head sculpt there. Good detailing in her head and on her hood there. Again, this is using the plastic mold hood and cape, and then of course the soft goods skirt there, which I think works very well for this action figure. Her head is actually not attached to her body, I think. I believe it's just, her head's basically just sitting in her hood there. And the hood itself is actually the articulated part, which you can't get a lot of range out of it because of the plastic. But something unique. I think this is the only action figure in the vintage collection, or maybe even the only Star Wars action figure that utilizes something like this. So again, basically all you're going to get is a swivel neck out of her. You can move the head around a little bit, not a whole lot though. Hinged shoulders, then hinged elbows there. Goes about 90 degrees. Swivel wrist, and a swivel waist as well. Then swivel hips, and then hinged knees, which go about 90 degrees, and then hinged ankles as well. Good detailing on her boots there. In terms of accessories, she just comes with her ignited lightsaber and the unignited hilt. Good detailing on her lightsaber there. And it fits very well on her belt. Believe as well, I'm not 100% sure, but I think the lightsaber blade is a slightly lighter color compared to the original release. Not 100% sure. I will do a comparison when I do the original review. When I do the reviews for the original action figures for each of these, I will compare them side by side with their counterpart here, and we'll take a look at a little closer then. Then the last action figure, and technically the only new one to the vintage collection, and that's Luminar Unduli. I believe she was originally going to be released, but since they canceled the original line of the original run of the vintage collection, she was moved to the Black Series. Very nice action figure as well. About the only two differences I really notice between this one and the original release is her cape, or her cloak here is again more trimmed, more form-fitting to her. The other one's a little more stringy, a little more ragged, and I believe it drags a little bit. This one's not quite so much, and the paint job is a little bit different. She has a little bit of a lighter shade in colors, which is probably more accurate to the Clone Wars series. Very nice detail on her outfit here. Great sculpt all around. In terms of articulation, this headdress is removable, and if you do that, she does have a very good ball jointed neck there, then hinged shoulders there, hinged elbows, goes about 90 degrees, then swivel wrists, swivel waist there, then swivel hips, and hinged knees. Go again about 90 degrees, and hinged ankles as well. Again, the only accessory she comes with is just this headdress and her one lightsaber. Unfortunately, she doesn't come with an unignited hilt, and she does not have a spot on her belt to be able to put a lightsaber, unfortunately. Headdress fits very well, doesn't fall out at all. Fix that a little bit. But yeah, that's pretty much all there is to say about these action figures. They're all great to own. Would I recommend them to you? I absolutely would. Even if you already have most of these in your collection, I think they're great to have, and there's just enough uniqueness to each one of them where it's worth getting another, even if you just keep a few that are carded. Again, some of the paint on them can be kind of blotchy, so watch out for that. They are Walmart exclusives, I believe. At least the Jedi and the Battle Droid you can usually find on Walmart for retail, no problem, at the time of this video, of course. Of course, the ARC Troopers have been in and out of stock every now and then since the beginning when these were released back in March. I had these on pre-order since like July of 2021, and I know at least the ARC Troopers sold out pretty quickly at the time, and I managed to get at least one of each. But a lot of times if you go out to the comic book stores or places like that, or even on eBay, every now and then you'll find one for a good price, or maybe another collector will be selling them on social media or something like that. But the original Clone Wars line is very important to me. I'm personally a bigger fan of it than I am the Dave Filoni Clone Wars line, so this is a important wave to me. It's a very important wave to a lot of other people as well. I recall watching this series back in the day between 2003 2004, and I thought it was the greatest thing ever, and I think it's really cool that 20 years later we can still be talking about this series, and we still get releases every now and then of action figures from the series. So I would highly recommend all 6 of these for you. Again, especially this ARC Trooper here, if you're wanting to get even just one, but if you want to get multiples of it, right now is the time to do it while you can still get it for a decent price. Otherwise, in the future, I could see it where it'll be like $50 or $100 per figure even. And what else is there to really say about these action figures? And I suppose that's about it. I do have the originals of each and every single one of these. I'll do their own review in the future, and I'll do a comparison with the originals with each of these. So stay tuned for that. Anyways, I appreciate all of you for watching this video if you made it this far, and I hope you found some value in it. And if you have not already, please like and subscribe to the video. Greatly appreciate it. And I thank the support from each and every single one of you. And thanks for watching.